Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and welcome to another edition of Pause and Pray. This weekend my wife Christy found herself doing some very playful and creative things with sidewalk chalk. She wanted to decorate our sidewalk, our driveway, our front walkways with colorful hearts, just to spread some love and color and light in this uncertain season in which we're all living. And as I watched her create these hearts, I began to think of all of the ways in which I've experienced some amazing creativity surfacing in this time. I thought of a neighbor this weekend who texted me on my phone and said, "I left you a Holy Week decoration on your door." He's not a member of our church, but he is a person of faith, and he put some branches wrapped in red ribbon and hung them on our front door as a way of helping us acknowledge and enter into this most holy of weeks. Or I thought of another neighbor a few houses down who was busy at work painting a huge mural full of vibrant color in her front yard. Or I think of the park in which I run, which is also chocked full of all sorts of inspirational messages. Messages like, say hi to strangers, spread love, it's contagious too, and there's a light inside of you. In today's daily office, the psalm given to us for our morning prayer is Psalm 51. And much of that psalm, if you're familiar with it, reflects on us. And when it reflects on us and our humanity, it does so acknowledging our brokenness and sinfulness. But when it reflects on God, it reflects on God's beautiful, dynamic, divine creativity at work in all of that brokenness. It reflects on God's ability to search our hearts for truth and teach us wisdom secretly. It reflects on God's ability to give us the joy of God's saving help and sustain us with a bountiful spirit. And it reflects on God's ability to create in each and every one of us a clean heart and renew in us an upright spirit. All of that invites me to pause and to pray today about all the many ways in which I've experienced God's divine creativity at work in the midst of my holy weeks of brokenness and darkness. Whether that's the many ways I'm experiencing that now as we find ourselves in a holy week of uncertainty with this pandemic, through the colorful hearts drawn on sidewalks or art or the inspirational messages, or the many creative ways in which people are finding to stay connected to one another or to be church. But I'm also invited to pause and pray about the very personal ways in which I've experienced that divine creativity at work in my holy weeks of brokenness. Whether that's through the heart-to-heart conversations with trusted friends and mentors, or the help of therapists, or even the being ministered to by priests, because I need them too in my life. And I invite you to pause and to pray about the same. And hopefully to come to a deep sense of marveling, that as we enter this most holy week, we recognize that yes, we are entering a week of darkness and betrayal and abandonment and suffering and death. But we also recognize that we're not entering that holy week alone, that God has already entered into it with a love that's so much deeper and more dynamic and creative than any of that darkness and abandonment and death. So creative that it's able to spin out of all of that darkness the new life and invitation of Easter. God's peace and blessings to you all.